Centuries ago, in a small village in feudal Japan, a young girl lived with her cruel stepfather. Her mother had passed away a few months ago from a harsh disease, and her true father had been killed in a farming accident, leaving her begrudgingly in the hands of her disinterested and callous stepfather. He made her do all the chores around the house, cooking, washing, and even laundering clothes for the neighbors in exchange for food. Anything else he couldn't be bothered doing, she had to do. One chore the girl could not do was drawing water from the well. It required pulling up a heavy bucket filled with water, then pouring it into a larger bucket to carry it back to the village. It was exhausting work and she hated it. On this particular day, while drawing water, something caught her stepfather's eye. A stunning hairpin made of fine metal and adorned with precious stones, gleaming in the water. This must be worth a fortune, he thought to himself, a greedy spark igniting inside him. He turned his eyes toward his stepdaughter, his gaze darkening with malicious intent. "Go down to the bottom of the well and see if there are more jewels," he ordered coldly. The girl was shocked and terrified. The thought of descending into the black, cold abyss of the well filled her with horror. She was terrified of confined spaces, of the dark, but she knew what would happen if she refused. The weight of his cruelty crushed her resolve. Trembling with the fear, she climbed into the bucket, her hands shaking uncontrollably as her stepfather lowered her into the darkness below. Suddenly, the rope snapped. She fell, plunging into the depths, her body striking the stone wall as she fell, finally crashing into the cold, stagnant water below. Her body was bruised, but she had survived the fall. From above, her stepfather's voice echoed down, but it wasn't out of concern for her well-being. He only asked if she had found more treasures. His greed consumed him. Fearful that he would leave her to die if she didn't comply, she quickly lied. "Yes, there are many more treasures. You can't even imagine what I've found." "Then tie them to the rope and I'll pull them up," he shouted back. "What about me?" she screamed, desperation flooding her voice. "Don't worry. After you send the treasures up, I'll pull you out," he assured her. She didn't believe him. His words were empty. She demanded that he pull her up first, but he refused. That only confirmed her fear. He had no intention of rescuing her. Her stepfather's disregard for her life was clear. She was nothing but a tool for his gain. "Then, if you want the treasure, come down here and get it yourself," she said, her voice quivering but resolute. His fury was palpable. "You wait till I get down there," he shouted, his anger thick with menace. "You'll wish you'd never asked for treasure." With that, he started his descent down the well. As he climbed, the rope snapped, and he began to fall, his body plummeting into the water with a sickening splash. She watched in horror as he struck the water face first, with a loud snap, a crack as his neck broke upon impact, and he sank to the bottom, lifeless. For a moment, she felt a sense of cold relief. He was dead, but she was still trapped. She looked into his lifeless eyes, the water around him turning a dark crimson as his blood spread. She was half relieved and half terrified that she was still trapped at the bottom of the well. The day slowly turned into night, and she tried to climb out, but the walls were too slippery. She screamed, but no one could hear her. Exhausted, she gave up and collapsed onto the cold stone floor, her sobs echoing in the well. After hours of crying, something shifted inside her. She stopped sobbing and stared into her stepfather's unblinking eyes. Anger surged within her. She was glad he was dead. He deserved it. But then, his eyes moved. They locked onto her with an unnatural stillness, and a twisted, decaying smile spread across his face. Her blood ran cold as a voice, deep and hollow, echoed from his lifeless mouth. "You're going to die down here. Then we'll be together again. You'll be joining me soon." "No," she screamed, kicking his lifeless bodies away. But when she looked down, he was as dead as he always was, still, unmoving, lifeless. She felt the urge to escape burn within her, and she knew she had to survive. But it was no use. The well was too deep, and no one could hear her. The night was long and agonizing. The cold seeped into her bones as insects crawled across her skin, biting and crawling over her face, her body, anything to stay alive in that suffocating darkness. When dawn finally came, she shouted again, hoping someone would hear her. And someone did. A man passing by the well heard her cries and peered down. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice echoing from above. "I'm fine," she shouted back. "Please help me, I'm stuck down here." The man quickly lowered a rope, and she tied it around her waist. He pulled her slowly to the surface, and for the first time in what felt like years, she breathed fresh air. She was rescued. She felt a rush of relief and gratitude. This man was kind, and she could finally escape the horrors of the well. But then, as she looked into the man's wagon, a chill gripped her heart. There, in the back of his cart, were the very same jewels her stepfather had hoped to find, and the horrifying realization sank in. She had been rescued by someone far worse. She wished she were back in the well, and as the man's cold eyes met hers, she knew her nightmare was far from over.